today we don't have like a thesis. We're just going to talk about our favorite Disney villains that are men.
Yeah, since we've already talked about the ladies.
And we're drinking rose petal tea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're drinking the rose petal tea, and I feel like one of the more significant, probably the most significant Disney villain to us is Gaston. Mm-hmm. A lot of the Disney villains, we realized kind of the gender takes after the hero. So Ariel has Ursula, Hercules has Hades, Aladdin has Jafar. There are all of these, but Belle has Gaston.
Mm-hmm. Well, because the Beast is really the protagonist of that film. You should check out our video about that. Gaston is as much of a villain to Belle as he is to the Beast, which is what makes him so interesting as a force of patriarchal control, male control over women, and like the way that he feels entitled to Belle. Mm-hmm. As far as I know, Gaston is an entirely original character to Disney. Yeah. He's not a part of any of the versions of the Beauty and the Beast story that I've ever read.
Yeah, he just represents the patriarchy and mob mentality and how dangerous that is, how easily people can turn. Obviously, he was created as this sort of love letter to Howard Ashman and the issues that he fought as a gay man, being out in the 90s and, you know, succumbing to HIV/AIDS and that epidemic. Gaston is a guy that's out walking on the street. There are a lot of Gastons out there. Gaston also has like this kind of confluence of other elements, I think, of the different other male Disney villains. He is kind of sexual and lecherous in a way that's really exemplified by Frollo from Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah, Frollo also exists today as sort of the less physically powerful version of Gaston, but with all the same desires.
And as like a figurehead of the patriarchy, basically.
Frollo is overtly sexual. And you really don't have that in a lot of Disney villains because these are sanitized children's stories. Yeah. And children's stories throughout history have not been sanitized in this way. No. Sexual violence is very much a part of many children's stories, Rapunzel being
something that sadly a lot of children do experience. So I think having these elements, especially in a very villainous way.
Disney usually cleans that part out, even of their villains, like you're saying, Hades.
Hades isn't sexual at all. He wants to possess Megara, her soul,
for her sexual power, partially, but only to be using it on other men.
Yeah, like, he doesn't seem to be.
She is quite sexualized, and he recognizes that, and he wants to tap into that power for his own purposes. None of his own purposes involve getting a woman of his own or like possessing Megara like sexually at all. He's not interested in that.
Even although Jafar does take a weird sexual turn.
Yeah, for one moment.
That movie.
Slave Jasmine.
With the whole slave Jasmine outfit, up until that point, he has no desire for her in any capacity. He doesn't want to marry her. He doesn't want to be near her.
Well, his idea of marrying her comes about with his desire to be king. Like, she's a means to an end. She's not even a perk to him. No. It's not even like, I'll marry Jasmine and I'll be king. And I'll be married to Jasmine.
I think he literally says, I'll marry her and then I'll murder her because I don't want to be around her.
Yeah. So that's fun.
Yeah.
Also awful. But awful in a really not usual way that men are awful to women. That's unusual.
Yeah. Another really interesting, non-sexualized, I'd say, and gender-swapped villain for the hero is in The Princess and the Frog.
DrFacilier.
DrFacilier, who I realized, thinking back, watching that movie, there's a sort of element where he's like sold too much of his soul to his friends on the other side. And his journey is he has to kind of like make up for the evil doings that he has done, but he does them by doing more bad stuff. It's a really complicated villain there.
As Disney got more mature and started telling more complicated stories, we ended up getting more complicated villains and villains that you can have compassion for in like small specific ways.
Yeah, I guess Mulan gets Shan Yu, the leader of the
and when he finds out that his whole invasion takeover plot has been foiled by a woman, he recognizes her as a fellow combatant.
Yeah,
He doesn't
yeah.
belittle her. He doesn't use gendered insults.
Women in Mongol culture could fight alongside men. Literally the only gender difference historically was the wearing of a headdress. So women would just take off the headdress. They would be seen no longer as women, but warriors, essentially. They'd put the headdress back on, now you're a woman again. It's like that level.
Wow.
It's really nuts. Who do we want to re-elect to apply with an army? Oh, this is so hard.
So this is a special edition where we're talking about men, so we're gonna fuck, marry, kill them.
This is hard.
And it's really hard. So we did decide that we're gonna have to fuck Gaston, which is gonna be
horrible
unpleasant.
Hate night. I feel like you get him really drunk and then just sort of like stop. I don't know. I'm trying to weasel my way out of this already.
I mean, the Babettes like him. There's got to be something. We're lost. All right. So the reason we have to fuck Gaston is because we'll marry Shan Yu.
Because, like, just
under
on
the
his...
presumption that women are treated okay in the Han society.
Yeah.
Based on absolutely nothing other than
in the
we
movie,
assume that they're
historical
like
fact.
Mongol.
Yeah.
We assume that
Yeah.
they're like the Mongol culture.
Which means we're gonna murder
Frollo. We are going to enjoy killing him.
He's gotta die.
He's got to go. That is a horrible, disgusting human. Bye. Bye, Felicia.